Hey, ladies and gentlemen, vegasstacker here, stopping at you to give you a video. I used to self-promote in the beginning, but I'm done with that. If you guys enjoy the video, want to see more, you already know what to do. Today, what I want to focus on and talk about is the do's and don'ts of silver stacking, gold stacking, precious metal stacking, however you want to say it, whatever you want to call it. Now, these are just my do's and don'ts. Everybody else has their own. Just my opinions. Everybody has their own opinions. So, share some of your do's and don'ts in the comments below. Maybe we can learn and change our ways from you. I always like learning from you guys and hope you guys learn a little bit from me as well. We're going to start with the don'ts. Let's end on a positive note. We'll start with a negative note and we're going to end on a positive note. First, and this is a big one for me, I like to think, because obviously if you guys are watching me, you watch a little bit of YouTube and you follow some stackers or whatever. Don't compare your stack to somebody else's stack. Just because I have an Engelhard bar or RCM bar or some vintage pieces that you might like doesn't mean you have to run out and buy those same pieces. That doesn't mean you have to stack those. Maybe your situation's a little different and you can only pick up a Morgan a week or a Morgan a month. Then that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Everybody's stack is their own stack. Don't compare yours to others. Don't try and compete with others. Try and buy as much as they have because not everybody's situation is the same. They might be a little better off financially than you are. So their stack can grow a little bigger and they can buy different pieces than you. And listen, that's fine. Each stack is individual. Moving along, this hit me recently because I saw an article where some people that I knew, they were really good people, they passed away suddenly in a vehicle accident. So this made me think of this one. And it's don't stop living. Don't sacrifice living so that you can go out there and you can buy a kookaburra. Don't Now this is just my opinions and people are gonna differ from this. But don't sacrifice your favorite meal with your wife just so you can buy a slabbed Morgan. Just my opinion. I'm not gonna do this. I'm not gonna stop living. I'm not gonna sacrifice a Red Bull so I can buy a Morgan a week. I drink my Red Bull, so I'm going to go get my Red Bull. And I just have to find a different way to go buy a Morgan a week or a Morgan a month or whatever it may be. But please don't sacrifice living just to stack silver or gold or precious metals. I understand it's a savings account, hedge against inflation, retirement plan, all those types of things. But life is too long not to enjoy it. So go out there, feel free to have a nice dinner. Feel free to get that $8 cup of coffee if that's what you want. I'm not saying you always have to do it, but enjoy life, people, please. Moving along to number 3. Don't overstack. I had this worded a different way, but my brother suggested overstack. So if you think about this, don't overstack. What do you mean don't overstack? Well, don't go out there and buy don't go out there and buy 100 ounces of silver because you had money in the bank and now you have no money in the bank and your car breaks down. Well, now you have no cash in the bank to fix your car. So you're either going to have to sell your precious metals that you just bought, which you might take a loss on it if you bought them recently. You never know. Or you're going to reach for a credit card in your wallet to pay for that repair. Please, people, don't go into debt for stacking. Don't overextend yourself for stacking and not leave yourself with any cash reserves. Always have cash reserves even when stacking precious metals. I get it. Precious metals are addicting, and you want to have all the shiniest, all the nicest, all the collection or whatever you want. But please keep some cash in the bank or under your mattress or in your safe, wherever you keep your cash. But don't overstack, please. My opinions. So I said I wanted to keep it positive, so I'm only going over 3 negatives. Now, if you guys have any other negatives, throw them down there and let me know what you think. I always like to hear them. Let's move on to the positives and end on the do's. So, do decide. This is sort of an honorable mention, but do decide if you're going to stack or if you're going to collect. Now, when I think of stacking, I think of bars. I think of just weight. This is stacking. You're adding weight to your collection. You're trying to buy the most ounces for the least premium. And that's where you're going to find it in bars. Or maybe it's in junk silver. But the collecting part comes more like a Geiger bar or a kookaburra or a slabbed Morgan or a slabbed peace dollar. That's more of a collecting. So I'm sort of both. I started off wanting to stack, but then I saw kookaburras and I saw this and I saw that. But then I was paying higher premiums for stuff and it was becoming more of a collecting than it was a stacking. So do yourself a favor, decide if you want to stack or collect, or maybe you want to stack and collect both. Just do find your spot what you want to do. My advice. Also, sort of in that line, have fun. Try, do have fun with this. Don't make it miserable. Don't make it where you are stressing about anything. If you find one type of silver that you like to stack, keep stacking that and have fun with it. You might get bored with that. Find something else you like to stack. I found that I found vintage stuff that I started getting hooked on, and it's still stacking. It's sort of collecting because you pay a little bit more premium for it, but it's fun. You got to keep it interesting, I believe. If you just keep stacking bars, you might get bored with it. But hey, that's stacking, and you're going to get your weight up that way. So, just my opinion. Moving right along, do shop around. I mentioned this in another video the video right before this, I believe. There's all sorts of places out there to find precious metals. Don't be afraid to go into a pawn shop. Ooh, that was a don't. Let's switch that up. Do go into pawn shops. Check them out. Sometimes they have good deals. I know my brother, he's got a great pawn shop he goes to, and he gets silver for $1.50 over spot. It might be Kookaburras, it might be JM bars, who knows? But they do have deals. So do shop around. Do check out pawn shops. Do click on different websites that are out there. Do go into coin shops. Do go to coin shows. There's a lot of places out there where you can find good deals. Now, this is my last one here that I'm going to go through, my last ramble for the day. And I've sort of steered away from this, but I need to get back on it, which is do keep track. Keep track of when you buy it, where you buy it, how much you pay for it, what the spot price was at the time you bought it. And so you know how much you have spent on that piece of silver. So if you do have to liquidate it, you know which ones to grab first because you're going to be in profit, which ones to grab last. And it's good just to keep track of for your dollar cost average. So you know where you're sitting with your stack. So you know your average price for silver is $28 an ounce or $30 an ounce, whatever it may be. So you can keep track and you know where you stand in your stack. I've sort of been just picking up pieces here and there, and I've gotten away from keeping track, which I'm sort of mad at myself for doing, but I'm going to get back to it. Most people have a phone. There's a note section in your phone. That's where I kept track when I first started. And now I need to get back to doing that. That's what my do's and don'ts. Like I said before, please share in the comments below your do's and don'ts. I always like to hear it. Thanks for keep tuning in to the end. Thanks for sticking around. Isn't that such a good sound? And until next time, I'll catch you on the flip side.